Hello and welcome to another Vinny Talks Yanks. I'm your host Vincent LaRose, and today we are going to get into the effect on the Yankees participating in the WBC and how it could help or how it could hurt Yankees either in the regular season or the postseason throughout the year essentially. As we all know, the WBC is an intense 2 weeks of baseball played every 3 years. 20 countries compete at the highest level. These teams are all really, really good. You know, you get your lower level teams, but every team mostly has major leaguers, guys from the Japanese leagues, the Korean leagues all around the world, the Mexican leagues, and South American leagues. These guys are good. Every player on the field is a good baseball player. Of course, when you go against MLB players, it's, a little bit different, but it's a high level of competition. So these games match playoff baseball energy, and they're very, very intense for every single player on the field, no matter how good your team is. Truthfully, every single one of these guys that hit a home run, they're celebrating. It's like the playoffs in March. But it's super fun to watch, and I thoroughly enjoy it. It is very important for all the players involved. All these guys are repping the countries they came from, they're either descendants from, and like I said, every home run, every out, every pitch is celebrated in a way with these teams, no matter what the score is, because it's playoff baseball. It really is what it is at the end of the day. It's super fun to watch, and every single guy on the field wants to win. It is very fun. As of now, there are currently 9 Yankees on the Major League roster that are playing for WB teams, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, USA, obviously, and a couple others. And really the main concern is injury. These are high-level games, so you're ramping yourself up during a time where you're normally in spring training mode, where you're starting to ramp up, you're starting to get to the regular season. As of now, it's only 2.5 weeks away, and you're getting to a point to where you're starting to feel good, you're starting to get back in a rhythm. Now, place that player in the WBC, and it's not about rhythm, it's not about getting comfortable, it's about doing your very, very best to win the game. It's less about your own personal growth and more about what you can do to help these teams win. So it's a completely different atmosphere. And when you come to the offensive side, you're a little bit less worried about those guys because they do it every single day, and they play with high intensity every single day. It's really more when you get worried when you get to the pitching side of it. The Yankees have 3 guys, no starters but relievers, participating in the WBC, and obviously the worry is at high intensity, the amount of effort it's max effort. It's not like spring training where you're just, all right, I'm just working on my fastball right now, get my fastball in the strike zone. I'm working on my slider today. I want to work on my 4th pitch that I learned, my changeup, whatever it is. This is like you're competing at the highest level, and your goal is to strike the guy out at the plate and get outs. So there's no like, I'm working on this, I'm working on that. It's getting out. So it's very intense, and of course you're adding up innings, you're adding up, on your arm, and that could really affect the Yankees later in the season. You might have a guy or two go down who did participate in the WBC just because it is so much intensity on their body through a long season. But as of now, the Yankees have 4 opening day starters playing, which are Judge, Chisholm, Caballero, and Wells. Obviously, Caballeros will more fade into a bench role once Volpe comes back, but as of now, he's an opening day starter. Then we have the 3 guys who are in the bullpen. That is Cruz, Doval, and Bednar. And then the 2 bench guys are going to be Rosario and Goldschmidt. They're not going to really see much play. Rosario more than Goldschmidt will. An insane amount of playing time, but the guys on your bench, so, if something did happen, it's of course not the end of the world. It does suck, but, they don't really matter too much in the conversation I want to have in this video. But I wanted to get into how the tournament can affect these Yankees going into the season. This is going to be like individual. I'm not gonna group it. Well, there's one group together, but these are individual guys, and we're gonna start off first with the captain, Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge has the highest chance now to win an actual championship with Team USA. Of course, the Yankees got close in 24, but he has never actually won the highest level competing World Series championship kind of thing. Obviously, it's not a 7-game series. It's just one game, but it's still an achievement for the captain, and I still feel like this can really help him going into the season. this tournament is only going to make him more hungry. He's going to want to win the World Series even more, especially if they win the win the championship, and it will elevate his play. And I believe we are going to see one of the best seasons we've ever seen from Aaron Judge, which is crazy to say because I feel like we say that every single year. But I really do think like this is going to get the intensity up. This is going to really, really get him going. Not like he has a problem beforehand. But I feel like this is just going to elevate Judge's play even more. The more pitches Judge sees, especially at a high level. I mean, I know Brazil is Brazil, and they were not great against Team USA, but a 17-year-old was throwing 97 miles per hour. It's something different. It's something he's never seen before, and I do believe that this will elevate his play, and I also believe this is what's going to push Judge to his 4th MVP, his 3rd MVP in a row, and really help the Yankees compete throughout the season. Because to be honest, the Yankees go from, a World Series team, a chance to make the World Series, to barely a playoff team without Aaron Judge. I'd be surprised if they made the playoffs without Aaron Judge. So I do think this will elevate Judge's play even more, and I do think going into the regular season, it's going to make him even better, and we're going to see an amazing season from Aaron Judge. But we will now move on to Austin Wells. Just like Judge, I think competing in the tournament will only elevate Austin Wells' play. Of course, as we know, Austin Wells did struggle quite a bit offensively last year. He was very inconsistent, and I do think this can help him a lot, just with high intensity to start the year, really get him rolling as he's competing on a team like the Dominican Republic, who is going to get either to the finals or to the semifinals. And a team that just get him in that atmosphere. Hopefully it'll help him build a little bit more consistency and continue to elevate his game, because of course he's still young, he's still growing very much. I do think this will help him defensively as well. He's still working with guys like Doval, so it could help him there. But a lot of the guys in the Dominican Republic throw hard, and I think this will elevate his defense as well. At least get him, maybe not elevated, but get him prepared for the regular season. Get him going. Of course, he is a catcher, so you do worry about that freak injury that could happen, a foul ball, a play at the plate, just anything that of course is a worry, and you don't want that to happen. So that is the only thing I'm really scared about Austin Wells here. But I do think him playing for the Dominican Republic, being on a team that good, and just being in high intensity moments will only help him for the season and not hurt him at all. And then this is the two guys I grouped together. Then there's Jazz Chisholm and Jose Caballero. And the reason I put them together, and the reason I talked about them in the same group here, is because they both play for teams that aren't even going to make it out of pool play. Caballero playing for Panama, they're 0-2. Chisholm playing for Great Britain, they're 0-2. They're not going to make it out of pool play. They're not good teams. Compared to what they're competing against, to be brutally honest, they really had no chance going into the tournament at all. Nobody's putting money on them to go very far. And like I said, they're not even going to make it out of pool play. So to me, this is essentially a more intense spring training for them, which of course doesn't hurt them necessarily. I do like that they're playing full games. It's going to build them up a little bit better, and it's going to get them. It's going to allow them to have higher leverage at bats earlier in the year, prepare them a little bit better, see more pitches. It's more like, it's not just all right, I want to do this at bat, I want to hit a home run this at bat, I want to hit the ball the other way this at bat, I really want to make sure I'm on the off speed. It's actual, like super high end at bats. I'm explaining it poorly, but it's intense, and that's exactly what a guy needs to get the season rolling. But I really don't think this can hurt them in any way. I don't think there's a possibility of them playing this and them being really bad going into the season. If they played bad this year, I don't think it's because of the WBC. Obviously, there's just to really worry about the injury at this point. Caballero and Chisholm are two main base stealers, so you would really hate to lose out on that. And both are pretty good defensively. They're just going to be your up-the-middle duo for probably about the first couple of weeks of the season, so you don't want to see either one of those guys go down, especially Jazz. But that is a small worry. Just like Wells, I feel like those injuries are more freak incident. If a hamstring injury comes, it was probably going to happen anyways, to be completely honest. So we shall see with those guys. But those are all the actual guys starting the season or opening day, immediately going to be in the lineup, immediately playing. Then you have 3 relievers. So the first reliever of this tournament I'm going to start with is Fernando Cruz. He plays for Team Puerto Rico. My main My main concern for Cruz is injury, of course. Cruz battled with multiple injuries last year. He's up there in age. He's not a spring chicken anymore. And we all know, watching him pitch, he's 100% every single time. Cruz wants to win, and that, of course, is a worry. I would really, really hate to have to miss a month or 2 of Cruz because he played in the WBC. He put so much effort, and it took a toll on his body. And now in September, when we really, really need him, if we're in a division race, in a race to be number 1 in the AL, and he goes down because he's had too much strain through the long season. Although this is a possibility, it's also not a possibility, and I do think the Yankees are going to properly prepare for this. I think they know this, so I think coming back after the 15th, maybe even sooner, of course, if they don't get into the championship, which I think Puerto Rico likely gets to at least the semifinals, maybe quarter, but right as he comes back, it's all right, take a couple days off because we know what you were doing intensely, just light workout days, and give him maybe a week or 2 before he goes on to an actual mound in a spring training game to pitch, just bullpens, just to make sure that you're really lightening his workload after the large workload he's going in. He's one of the better relievers on that team, so he's going to get higher leverage moments, especially once they're out of pool play. They are 2-0. They're probably going to make it out of pool play. I can almost guarantee it. So he's going to see more high intense innings, and of course the main concern is injury, but I do think this can help him. Of course, it can help any of the guys on this list. Then we have Camilo Doval, and this was kind of the hardest one for me to really decipher whether this is going to be good or bad for him. Camilo Doval has been extremely inconsistent his entire career. You've seen the highest of the highs where he's one of the most dominant closers in baseball. You've seen the lowest of the lowest just as early as 2024, where he was sent down because he was so bad. And consistency is key for Camilo Doval at this point. I think Doval is an extremely good pitcher. He has a very, very strange windup, he goes from the stretch, but he's a very strange way he's positioned himself. I do know he's been working with Matt Blake during this offseason to tweak a little bit of things, just trying to get him to throw more strikes, because if he's throwing strikes, Camilo Doval is one of the best relief pitchers in all of baseball. The problem is being able to throw strikes, and not only being able to throw strikes, but be able to throw balls that look like strikes. And that was his biggest problem. Last year when he got traded from the Giants to the Yankees, he was so inconsistent. He would be missing balls by 1.5 feet outside. How many pitches did we see go to the backstop with him? So I don't think this will hurt him. I do think this could help with consistency, get him more reps, get him in a better groove. Again, that high-intensity baseball could help him at such an early point in the season going into the regular season. This can also hurt him, though. He's been so inconsistent. Who knows what you're going to get with Doval? I haven't personally seen him pitch this tournament. I haven't watched any of the Dominican Republic games other than the one last night, and he didn't show up in that game. I don't think he showed up in the game. I wasn't, 100% watching the entire thing. But there is that worry of injury, of course. There is that worry of, is he going to be able to go from such a high to then such a low at the start of the season? Camilo Doval has had issues in his career with actually having fun pitching. There's reports when he was with the Giants, he was questioning himself. He was not happy. He was having those issues. Of course, when he got traded to the Yankees, we hear that, he just really wasn't comfortable. He was uncomfortable. It was so different for him. It seems like mentally Doval is affected more than others, and I don't know how I personally don't know how he is going to be able to rebound from the high end competing to then go into that long 162 game season, to where that first couple of months, of course you want to win, but it's not so super high intensity as it would be in the postseason or during the WBC, of course. And then, of course, the last guy we got is David Bednar. David Bednar was the Yankees closer after being traded. after that we traded from him from the Pirates last year. And David Bednar got his first taste of playoff baseball last year, his first taste of high intensity baseball. I wouldn't say maybe first taste, because he was on the WBC team back in 23, and of course they've made it all the way to the championship, so he's been in high intense moments. But last year was the first time he played in the playoffs, and I do think, again, him being in a high leverage role, he's going to pitch in high leverage situations for Team USA. It is only going to elevate him. It's going to help him going to the start of the season. Of course, the same thing with all the relief pitchers. You're worried about injury. You're worried about 100% effort. So early on in the year, you're worried about the scenario of adding innings onto them. A lot of these guys, some guys are consistently put on innings watch. They are only allowed to get a certain amount of innings during the year, of course, because of the risk of injury. And those are all things to worry about every single relief pitcher. But David Bednar, I do think, I keep wanting to say David Wells for some reason, but David Bednar, I do think it'll elevate his game. I do think it'll help him moving forward into the season. And overall, I don't think any of these guys competing is going to hurt the Yankees. Everybody's super excited to watch the Yankees play. Whatever team you're rooting on for, whether it's Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, USA like myself, all these guys are going to get a higher intensity baseball a little bit sooner than they're used to, and that could help some people. Of course, there's been the rumors in the past was like, oh, you know how hard it is to play such high intensity baseball and then go to the regular season or go back to the spring training and then have to tone it down a little bit just so you don't hurt yourself. There is, of course, those talks that have happened in the past, and those are, of course, worries. You're, of course, worried about later in the year how long these guys have been competing. It's really hard to be able to not go on an injured list at any single point during a 162 game season, except if you're Paul Goldschmidt for some reason. How many years has he been in the MLB? He's only been on the 10-day IL one time. So, of course, those are all worries, but WBC is super fun to watch. I love the WBC. I wish it was every year. Of course, that can't happen, but it's super fun to watch. I really like that Team USA, really all the best players around baseball, decided that this was the year Team USA was going to go all out and really try to win it with these guys. Of course, 23 is the best players in baseball were on Team USA, but you didn't have guys like Judge. Bobby Witt wasn't maybe to his level yet. Different guys that are on this team now, like Pete Crow Armstrong, weren't even a thought in 23. I do think this is a better team than the 23 team. The pitching is way better. Even the bullpen is better. This is a way better USA team, and I do think this is the best chance they have to win. Of course, you still have the Dominican Republic. You still have Japan, the juggernaut. So it's really high intense baseball, and I really like watching it. I really like that so many Yankees are competing this year, and it's not just guys on the major league roster. It's guys Elmer Rodriguez and a couple other of our prospects decided to compete, so it's really, really fun to watch. But that is where I'm going to end today's video. As always, if you're on the YouTube side, I appreciate you watching. If you're on the podcast side, thank you for listening. YouTube side has been consistently decent for the past couple of months now, but the podcast side is really starting to pick up. So if you are listening on the podcast side, I appreciate you. I really, really want to make this my everyday work. So having you guys, having more people starting to listen to my videos and my podcast is really cool to see. But as always, thank you everybody for watching. If you guys are interested, I do daily update videos. I know YouTube and podcasts have been a little bit less consistent lately. I'm doing more like 1, maybe 2 a week when I was doing 3 or 4. It's spring training. It's kind of the dog days. WBC obviously elevates that, so it helps me break out a little more content. But if you want daily updates, or it's usually daily updates, I might skip 1 day a week. It really just depends on how my life is going. But of course, if you're on YouTube, you'll see the shorts every day. And then I'm on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Everything's Vinny Talks Yanks. Instagram is Vinny.TalksYanks. I'm on Twitter too, but I really don't post much on Twitter. So if you guys are interested, go ahead and watch those videos. Follow me there. That'd be appreciated as well. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and of course, go Yankees.